What would you do if the place you called home was ripped away without a word, but you held the power to turn the tables? For Daniel Harper, that question wasn't hypothetical. As the mayor of Willow Lake, a sleepy town cradling a shimmering reservoir, he'd spent years shaping its laws to protect its people. His houseboat, the Serenity, was more than a home, was his sanctuary, a floating testament to a life unmoored from convention. But when the Homeowners Association towed it without notice, they didn't just take his boat. They ignited a fire in the man who wrote the very rules they thought they could bend. Daniel had always been an outlier. He'd traded a corner office for the open water, choosing the gentle rock of waves over the grind of city life. His houseboat, a modest but lovingly restored vessel, was his rebellion against the HOA's iron grip on Willow Lake's pristine shores. The association, led by the officious Margaret Klein, enforced their vision of order with an almost religious zeal. No unapproved docks, no eyesore boats, no deviations from their manicured aesthetic. Daniel, though, wasn't just any resident. As mayor, he'd penned the town's dock ordinance himself, a carefully crafted law ensuring residents' rights to their waterfront homes, as long as they met safety standards. The Serenity was pristine, its permits flawless. So why was it gone? The morning he discovered the empty dock, Daniel's heart sank into his boots. The lake, usually a mirror of calm, seemed to mock him with its stillness. His neighbors whispered from their porches, their pity stinging more than their gossip. Margaret's curt email arrived an hour later. Unauthorized vessel removed per HOA regulations. Unauthorized? Daniel's blood boiled. He'd written the law to prevent exactly this kind of overreach. The HOA had no authority to tow anything without a town council vote, a rule Margaret conveniently ignored. Daniel could have stormed into the HOA office, lawbook in hand, but he chose a different path. He knew the town's pulse, its people, its secrets. He called a town hall meeting, not as the mayor, but as a neighbor wronged. The community center buzzed with anticipation that evening, chairs filled with curious faces. Margaret sat in the front row, her arms crossed, smug as ever. But Daniel had a surprise up his sleeve, a twist that would shift the tide. Enter Clara, a quiet librarian who'd lived on the lake's edge for decades. Unknown to most, she'd been the town's unofficial historian, hoarding records of every HOA misstep. Clara, with her soft voice and sharp eyes, stood up mid-meeting and revealed a bombshell. The HOA's towing contract was with a company owned by Margaret's brother-in-law, a clear conflict of interest. Gasps rippled through the room. Daniel hadn't known this himself, but Clara's evidence-yellowed documents and a mail-sprue of the HOA had been skimming funds through shady deals for years. The crowd's murmurs turned to outrage. With the room electrified, Daniel took the podium. His voice, steady but laced with pain, recounted the mornings he'd spent on the Serenity, watching dawn break over the lake, feeling whole for the first time since his wife passed. The houseboat wasn't just a home, it was his tether to her memory. The HOA's callous act wasn't just a violation of law, it was a violation of humanity. He read the dock ordinance aloud, each word a hammer striking Margaret's crumbling facade. The law was clear: no towing without council approval, and no council had convened. The crowd rallied behind him. Neighbors who'd once grumbled about his hippie boat now saw the bigger fight, a community's right to its soul against petty tyranny. By the meeting's end, the council voted unanimously to reinstate the Serenity and investigate the HOA's dealings. Margaret resigned the next day, her empire of clipboard power dissolved. Daniel stood on his dock a week later, the Serenity back where it belonged, its hull gleaming under the moon. He didn't gloat. Victory wasn't about revenge, it was about reminding Willow Lake that power belongs to the people, not the rulebooks they twist. Clara, now a local hero, waved from her porch, her quiet courage a reminder that even the smallest voices can shift the current. Daniel smiled, the lake whispering peace once more. Yindi.